shark.
Dr. Lorca, the sharks crawled out of the tank.
Amazing.
And then returned.
So that's why there have been fluctuations in the shark population.
We need to find the remaining test subjects and eliminate them.
Touch that and warn ya.
4.
Why you count down to me? You're gonna say it's
Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is the, I don't know, third week, second week of to be or not to be. Third week.
time is irrelevant.
Yeah, time is a flat circle. And we watched my pick, which I'm sorry about, Land Shark. Which we're going to have to talk about how we proceed on this one because it defies all convention.
It should have just been called Shit Shark.
Well, yeah, right. Normally we go, well, it's a movie, but I don't even know if this technically qualifies.
Yeah, we had the same thing. You know, Gogs, what you should do is when... Well, no, then we won't be able to hear him. Never mind.
Yes.
Sorry, we're trying a new recording setup, everybody.
Yeah, we're all nude.
We're all watching the Ravens. Well, the us Maryland boys are watching the Ravens foosball game after this, so we're all.
I mean, I'm also gonna watch it just by myself.
we can keep the thing going, and you could just it'll be like what's it called? An Arrested Development. The Sarah.
Oh, the story. Wait, I didn't say that. He's worth every penny.
We'll strap a camera on Van and just make him stand here and say everything Sean says.
South Park 2, where it was like.
With the iPad Halloween thing.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we watched Land Shark.
Technically a movie.
It's funny that Sean said that because I was talking to Gogs before this, and I was like, I don't even think this deserves a number rating because it's not a movie.
Like rating it almost gives it too much power.
It's an insult to actual films. Like this shouldn't even this should be illegal to call a film. Like it needs some other designation. Like I don't know what it would be, but it's not a movie.
It's a project.
It's like I don't know.
It feels like that. It feels like a school project. Like it's like, hey, go make a movie in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's this guy's like 30th directing credit.
Yeah, the Polina brothers
or follow me.
Yeah.
This guy made 30 movies.
Oh, he's made like 6 this year.
He has 7 movies coming out in 2021.
Oh my!
I think he's made like at least 10 movies with some shark theme, like on its own.
Well, yeah, he did. He had like Jurassic Shark 2.
I'm mad at his name.
No, the names are great, but unfortunately, a good name does not a movie make.
Bigfoot versus zombies.
Mark Polonia has 67 directing credits.
And he's made $67.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has one. He's got 7 in 2021 alone.
Like it begs the question almost, and I don't want to get too far ahead of this. Could we make a movie and just get it on one of these services? Like, what is the gatekeeping process here?
Yeah, that's an excellent question.
There's so many services now. Like, probably
Tubi would definitely. What do they got to lose?
Like, is this like a pay-for-play thing? Like, where he had to pay like $100 for them to host it or something? Like, I have no idea. Because this is like, I mean, not to bury it, but this is the worst movie we've ever seen, right? Like, if you can even call it a movie.
Shark Exorcist was really bad.
I feel like
Shark Exorcist was better, I think.
I feel like this is worse than Shark Exorcist.
Me and Stacy were talking about that, and I said Shark Exorcist was worse, but I think that was only like 45 minutes long.
Yeah. And 15 minutes of it was a post-credit scene.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes long, and that includes that weird post-credit scene that was 20 minutes long.
This movie's so bad, Liz walked into the basement and was watching. She's looked and she goes, "What's wrong with this movie?"
Yeah, she's right. She's right. Completely right.
It's like they couldn't even film it on like an iPhone. They filmed it like on a razor.
Yeah.
They just found like a razor from like
Sidekick.
2012 and they're like, you know what? This will work. We can film 3-minute scenes on this.
Yeah, they filmed it on a goddamn Game Boy Pocket.
I don't know where one gets that many corded telephones. Like
those broke ass, square ass computer monitors.
All right, sorry.
Let's pause on talking about the movie. Let's get through what we all watched this week.
Okay.
What we do. Gogs, you said you watched like a million things. So go
2
ahead.
weeks worth.
One thing is tabled, I know.
Okay.
You and I both watched.
Over the last 2 weeks, I watched 6 things.
6 things?
I'll be very brief about Spider-Man: Homecoming. It still slaps.
I love that movie.
I will say this: this viewing of Spider-Man: Homecoming, because I showed it to Vance. I didn't pay attention. I didn't realize like how much, like Aunt May's character, like how like helicoptery she is. No, like she's like, but like with like because like Uncle Ben presumably. I also like that the movie doesn't say the origin story anymore, right? But like they assume you all know it.
Yeah.
But like the way that she's all like when she doesn't know where Peter is. I don't know. It's a really great performance. Everything about that movie kicks ass, and just we're good. I still think Michael Keaton is if he's in the top 3 of all Marvel bad guys of all time.
1,000%.
Him, Thanos, and Loki, and
I hope he shows back up.
Yeah, he's just so marvelous in that movie. I watched the 1988 Blob. Thank you, Shout Factory. That movie kicks a pile of ass too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that the one where a guy gets pulled through like a sink drain?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that scene and that scene only.
That movie is fucking vicious. That movie kills a kid, which I was like, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I've never seen the 50s version.
It can't be that good.
I've only seen that version, which I really like.
Yeah, it's a solid one.
It's the 50s version is a lot like TJ and I were talking about in Nate's show yesterday. It's one of those like men standing around describing the issue movies.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's America's Shin Godzilla?
Well, a lot of movies from that period, they couldn't know the things. Like they had no way of actually doing like real special effects, so they compensated by just having people talking in a room about things.
Oh no, look out, we got a blob here.
That's exactly yeah, pretty much.
I rewatched The Matrix because with the new Matrix trailer that came out, I was very interested in seeing how the original Matrix held up.
Still slaps.
You'll get a 10 or higher.
It's still pretty great. It's a very young man. It's like the ultimate neckbeard. Like it's a neckbeard movie. Like
no, I disagree. It's because it's become adopted by neckbeards, but I don't think.
It.
Yeah,
but that's a fair point. But it's a shame how it's been corrupted by them. But you can see it's like everything that they love has just been distilled out of that. I guess.
Sean, I only asked Sean because I know Sean and I watch a lot of the similar YouTube stuff. Sean, do you know about the controversy about The Matrix? How apparently there's no way to watch the original version of it anymore because
no.
So like when The Matrix came out in
does George Lucas own the rights to the originals?
Well, no, it's a weird
that's what they call red pilling.
So it's a weird color grading issue where the original print of The Matrix, like everybody knows The Matrix as this green movie. Mm-hmm. Apparently, if you went back to 1999 and watched it in the theater,
it's more bluish, right?
It didn't look like that, like at all. And I guess the definitive master was what is this green version. And I guess like a bunch of fucking movie nerds bitch about the fact that there's no actual way to see it the way you could see it in the theater in 1990.
Huh. No, I never would have known that.
An original print. Yeah, I'll send you the link. I watched like a whole video about it. It was pretty interesting.
I do know, and I think I don't know if everybody does, but like a lot of people do, that the Switch character was actually supposed to be a man in the real world and a woman.
Yeah.
But the studio was like, too gay. Cut it out. So they just made Neo a lesbian instead and didn't tell anybody.
That movie's still pretty good. I mean, the effects are dated, but you still appreciate the hell out of it. It's a fun. There's some stuff that doesn't make any sense about that movie, but I'll give it a pass because I just enjoy it.
All right, pause for a second.
Sure.
We haven't recorded together in a long, long time.
Yes.
I don't remember there being a 3/4 empty jar of Nutella in your studio, not even right where you can easily access it, but on a second shelf behind you.
He's hiding it from Liz.
That is 100% correct.
I asked him the same because it used to be like behind something on the shelf. Like I was like, why is this hidden back here?
I could see like half of the bottle
it's poorly hidden,
sticking out. Yeah,
because I had to get up there recently, but normally it's completely obscured by the modem. Like normally,
which now he is hiding it better.
Whatever. She hasn't been getting the jitters, so she's better.
The Nutella jitters.
So now let's talk about new things I've watched. I watched a movie called Butchers, which is not good.
It's the prequel of Bakers.
And it wants to be nice, and then the sequel to Candlestick Makers. It's not good. It wants to be like it's like if 100 Bloody Acres didn't have any nuance and fun, and wanted to just be more like the remake of a Texas Chainsaw. Ugh. Yeah, it's just bad. It's real bad. don't watch Butchers. I watched Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. This is my first Miyazaki Studio Ghibli. Is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
Don't ask me. I say everything wrong.
Fair enough. It's my first foyer into
That studio.
those films, and I really enjoyed it.
What do you mean those films?
I mean,
Made by those
made
people.
by those people.
Orientals.
Yeah. So as far as celestial films go, it's pretty great. Like, I liked. No, it's cool. It's post-apocalyptic. It's got giant bugs. It's got a really compelling story, and it's on HBO Max. So I'm gonna start watching some of the other stuff. I'm gonna.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah,
next.
I know you were speaking very highly of that, so I'm gonna give that a look.
I think all of them are on HBO Max, right? Like
It sounds
Yeah.
like they were. So I was watching with some buddies of mine, and they were saying there was one that we're not gonna watch this one if it's on there, and something about like. I guess when the Americans firebombed Tokyo, and it's about like 2 kids lost in the city. It sounds like it was super tragic and sad, but that is not on there. Fireflies or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a longer title. It's something City of Fireflies,
Something like
that. Yeah,
It sounded terrible.
I've never seen
sad.
it.
You gotta watch Tokyo Godfathers too. That's great.
Yeah, that's
they,
really cool.
They were saying something about like was it Palm Port? Something about a bunch of raccoons with giant testicle sacks.
Yeah,
Potpourri. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And then the last thing I
Moving
watched
on.
is semi-tabled because TJ and I both apparently watched it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
We both watched 'Malignant, and we can talk about that when the time comes. Alex,
So yeah, go ahead. No. I'll get to it when you guys get to that movie.
Did you watch it too?
No, of
Thank
course
God.
not.
All right, Alex.
I watched 4 things. Damn. 2 things I've seen before, so I'm not gonna. Moana is excellent.
Yo,
Thor Ragnarok is excellent.
yo.
Yeah.
The other 2 things I watched, one isn't a movie per se, but it's a docu-series, a Roku original, because they bought it from Quibi when they bought Quibi, called Blackballed, and it's about the 2014 Clippers
Oh shit.
postseason.
Oh, I want to see that.
Donald Sterling was blatantly exposed as a racist. Everybody already knew he was a racist, but blatantly exposed and forced to basically, in the course of a week, give up controlling interest of the team and sell the team.
Alec, I don't know if they mentioned this. I thought he had this like really hyper specific racism where it was like he was okay with his girlfriend fucking black guys, but don't bring them to the game with her or something.
Yep. Don't post pictures of you hanging out with them.
Right. But fuck
Like-
them is fine.
Yeah. Keep it in
Okay,
the bedroom. I don't care what you do in the bedroom. Just don't let people see you.
How progressive.
What a weird. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What?
It's kind of based. Like,
It's a very good documentary, and they get a. It's like 12 episodes, but each episode's like 8 minutes. So it's like an hour and a half all told. I watched the whole thing
You
in
said
one
it's on
sitting.
Hulu?
It's on Roku.
Roku.
Roku bought Quibi. If anybody remembers Quibi, they were around for a very short time.
Yeah.
Quibi was the one that did the Reno revival or something.
Yep, they got the Reno revival. They got that Kevin Hart show, Die Hard. There's some good stuff on there. But most of it seems like it's probably just garbage. But this one was excellent. If you're interested in basketball or racists getting their comeuppance, which I guess he really didn't because he still sold the team and made a fucking mint. But he's not in control anymore. And there's a lot of good interviews with Chris Paul, Doc Rivers, and DeAndre Jordan. And a ton of interviews with like the I wish they would have got Adam Silver, but they didn't get out Adam Silver. They might have got one little interview with him. But it is excellent, and I loved it.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it was great. I remember when that happened, like just watching like in awe of the NBA. Like,
Yeah, well, I remember
like they were ready to boycott playing in the playoffs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody's like, "What are you gonna do?"
it reminded me of like, do you remember the Marge Shot controversy?
Oh, yeah.
With Eric Davis.
That's right.
Yeah, the Reds.
Yeah.
This was like that was
was
multiplied way higher because of
Yeah, just because there's more accessibility to everything. Now.
absolutely.
It's like if Mel Gibson on the basketball team.
Yeah.
No, he loves the Lakers, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That was the whole reason he fucking yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god.
The last movie I watched was called Uncle Frank. It's an Amazon original. Stars Paul Bettany. Steve Zahn is in it. Stephen Root's in it.
Oh yeah, I saw ads for this.
I've seen the ads for
Yeah.
it for like
It
a
looked
year and
pretty
a half. It is very good.
Paul Bettany's like a gay guy, right? That's like
Yeah, it's like in the 70s, like the early 70s, and he's a gay guy from a very buttoned up religious family in the South, and he moves to New York. And then his father dies, and he has to go back for his father's funeral and kind of deal with the reckoning of. Most of the people in the family don't know he's gay. He's like completely closeted. He has a fake wife in New York that like they talk to on the phone when they call
shit.
and
Jesus.
stuff like that. But he actually lives with like his Iranian husband.
But that cast is a comedy or a drama or
His Iranian
both?
husband,
It's
Saddam
a-
Hussein.
It's more drama than comedy, but it still has some really it has some funny bits. Paul Bettany has a ton of range. It's like
I love that guy.
It's
He's
an absolute shame he's not.
Is he playing a Southerner?
It's a shame he's not like one of the biggest stars on earth because he has so much range and he's so good in like everything he does.
He's wonderful in WandaVision.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
really
he's
good in
excellent.
WandaVision.
Stacey was like, "What else has he been?" And I was like, "He was the Vision." She was like, "No shit."
Yeah.
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 He was also Priest. You should have let off with that. She probably would have known what you were talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
He's also Chaucer in A Knight's Tale.
Yep, I brought up that, and I brought up he was the albino in what's the Tom Hanks movies? The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, I've
He
never
was
seen
like
those.
the bad guy in those.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I never
I think he
saw
was
those.
like the heavy in those. He was like a crazy assassin or something, not the actual bad guy.
Right, right.
Mm. The
That's
bad
all-
guy was religion in those movies.
Bad guy's religion all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
TJ.
I watched two things. Both. I just want to say that I had a very disappointing movie weekend. Sean has documented this phenomenon before. When you watch too many bad movies in a row, you kind of feel like you don't want to watch movies anymore.
Yeah.
So Friday night, I watched the new Candyman, 2021's
Oh, good.
Candyman. It is it is the most frustrating kind of bad because like there's a definite good movie in there,
Oh.
but it is so like misguided and poorly written. Like I don't want to get too much into it because I was so inspired by how much I disliked this movie. I made a video that I posted on the Molehole YouTube page, so everybody can check that out. It's like a half an hour long. I go into like detail about what I had problems with, but it's very frustrating because I felt like the movie was directed really well. I thought the acting was all really good. It stars the what's his name, Yahya something, the guy that played Dr. Manhattan.
He is so good.
He's great.
Honestly, I'm disappointed with your take on this movie because I was so excited.
So was I.
I was so pumped for this movie.
So he's great in it. He's not none of the actors are the problem. His girlfriend in the movie is played by the actress that played Monica Rambeau in the WandaVision.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
She's great too. The movie I think is directed pretty well. Like the scenes are composed well. It's just the writing is so bad. And you know, I hate to say this, but the guy that wrote it is Jordan Peele, and like it has a lot of the same problems that Us has, where it's cool right up until they over-explain the entire plot, and then you're like, oh.
What are your thoughts on the original Candyman? Because I really like that movie still.
I love it. I think it's
Okay.
great. I actually, if I wanted to rewatch it, I didn't, but I remember really liking that movie. Also, without spoiling anything, if anybody does want to watch it, this isn't like a reboot or anything. This is actually like a direct sequel to Candyman, which is kind of weird.
Candyman or Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh?
I don't remember anything about Candyman 2, but it's definitely a sequel to Candyman 1.
Oh.
I don't know. It's a very frustrating movie, and I think everyone that watches it will have the same at least everyone in this room will have the same problem that I have, where it goes off the rails, and you're like, wait, what? Like, it's funny because it's short, and which I appreciate, right? But like at the same time, like it doesn't give itself any time to like let any scene like breathe or like the plot to really develop it all. I don't know. It's very frustrating.
Zach Wilson is trash.
All of the rookie quarterbacks today look real bad.
Good God.
All of them look
I was
bad.
about to be like, what's Zach Wilson in? Football.
Yeah, I watched the Red Zone all day today, and all of the all of the rookies look really bad. Then the other thing I watched was the thing that Gogs had tabled. I watched James Wan's *Malignant*, which is a movie that it's either a brilliant comedy or one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And here's the problem. I don't know what it's going for. if it's trying to be a parody, it's hilarious. But there's part of me that due to the marketing and due to James Wan himself, I think the movie is meant to be taken seriously.
There's no way it's meant to be.
And if you take that movie seriously, it is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's a really bad remake of Basket Case. And
do they feed cheeseburgers to a head?
I mean, basically, like, it's about almost the exact same shit. It's a conjoined twin that they like cut out, but they don't cut out all the way. And then the conjoined twin,
they're conjoined at the brain.
The conjoined twin wants revenge on everybody. And then for some reason, the conjoined twin has like electrical powers, like
that are never explained.
God, you can talk about. I hated this movie. I
thought you said this was Neil Blomkamp.
No, Neil Blomkamp made a movie called Demonic. I haven't watched yet. It's supposed to be really bad, really bad.
I mean, yeah, it's just there's no one that you know in this movie. The plot is incredibly predictable. Like, you can see what's coming a mile away. There's one action scene, because it's the same guy who did Furious 7, that I really thought was fun.
There's like a demon karate scene.
There's a demon karate scene through a police precinct with a very high body count. And I was like, oh, that's fun.
I was going to say, you're not talking me out of it.
But like the rest of it is
takes 2 hours to get to that scene.
It's just really dumb. It's just really dumb. And then the resolution at the end is also really dumb. And like, I don't know, man. It's like I said in our text chat, like it felt like Hereditary for COD chads. It's like it wants to be a lot more. I think it wants to be a lot heavier, or it wants to have a lot more gravitas than it's capable of earning.
I don't know. See, but here's the thing, right? Like, its tone is the problem, because I legitimately think I don't know how you can read this movie as not a comedy, because all the actors are like super over the top. Yeah. Every piece of dialogue is like very cheesy.
Yeah.
There's like a comedic amount of external shots of this fucking house. And then when you go in the house, it's like a Tim and Eric bit. Like, the house looks one way, and then you go inside the house, and it's completely different. It's the fucking loaded
weapon trailer.
I mean, I'm not trying to do work for this movie, but is some of that because of what they said in the movie about how? So the thing is, right? No one's gonna watch this piece of shit. The conjoined twin is connected to this lady's brain, and it can like show her images and give her like a false world that she can live in.
But everyone is experiencing this world. It's not it's not just her. It's not like the cops go in and it's like a normal house.
Right.
This movie, like, again,
it is a Saint Maud for idiots.
Like,
I don't know what
2 weeks ago we watched, Yakuza Apocalypse, and that movie is absolutely out of its fucking mind. But it's very clear that Takashi Miike knows it's completely out of his mind, and it's bonkers. This movie, like, I don't know what his intentions are.
All of his interviews made it sound like he was revolutionizing the horror game.
Oh, he certainly is. I mean, and like the choreography, because literally the person that's possessed with the conjoined twin has to move backwards, because the conjoined twin
pops out of the back of her head. The face is the back of her head.
Yes. So she's like fighting. It's fucking stupid as hell. Also, like, again, if it's not a comedy, the characters in this movie are the most ridiculous characters. Like, she comes home, the lead actress comes home, and she's pregnant. And the husband's like watching TV in their bedroom, and he doesn't want to leave the bedroom to watch TV anywhere else.
Wrestling.
He's watching UFC.
Oh, no, it is.
But how dare you? But he gets in an argument with her, throws her head up against the wall so hard it busts her head open and wakes up the fucking...
Which allows her demon tumor to emerge from the back of her skull.
And it's like, what is this movie? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I don't know how to gauge... I don't know how to judge this movie. I don't know if it's... I mean, it's hilarious, but I don't know if it's intentionally hilarious. Like,
there's no way.
Anyway, it's something...
If it is, it's Andy Kaufman level comedy that's almost undetectable.
And it's expensive looking. Like, it is very, very expensive looking. Like, they spent a lot of money on this movie, and it is. I've never seen anything like it.
It was
like,
not James Wonderful.
But yeah, that's all. So, Sean,
I watched 2 things.
2 things.
Thank you. Speaking of expensive, it just made me think of it. I watched Arrival again. The movie only cost $40 million somehow.
That's crazy.
That makes sense.
Great movie.
Yeah. But no, I always think of Gogs with that movie because I think it was right. Was Vance just born, or he was like a baby, or he was young?
What year did it come out? Probably
2000.
Yeah, it was a year after. 16? Yeah, he'd be 1 or almost 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe 15. Yeah. And like it made me think of Interstellar a lot because I feel like Arrival kind of nails a very similar ending, and Interstellar I think butt fucks it really bad at the end. So
You said butt fuck.
Arrival is brilliantly put together. I love that movie.
yeah, and for a movie that's just about language, it's like incredibly compelling. And even Jeremy Renner isn't bad in it. So plus it's got Forrest Whitaker doing another one of his curious mashup accents.
Yeah, his accent is all over the place in that.
It's like I can't tell if he's from Brooklyn or Jamaica or Mars or what's going on with him, but it's a lot of fun. And then I watched the most recent Dark Side of the Ring, which was gross. And it's a story. I'm sorry, what?
What'd you watch?
The Dark Side of the Ring, the most recent one.
Oh,
the Ric Flair episode.
It's on it's on the Plex. You should watch it.
It's a story that I was already like sort of familiar with. That plane ride from hell. But the reaction of all the people that were on the plane to like wanton sexual assault is just like, boys will be boys. They're just doing boys stuff. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, is there like a worse collection of human beings as a profession besides bankers than professional wrestlers? Like, they're all trash.
Lawyers.
You and I talked about it, Sean, but like there's something that they talk about in that episode that I wasn't familiar with, where they were on, what were they called? Halcyons?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's some sort of painkiller or something. Well, they call it H-bombing, where they would put these things in other wrestlers' drinks so they'd pass out and then they'd like fuck with them. But the worst thing is that they put them, they say this like in the documentary, they say it like it's nothing, but they'd say they'd H-bomb like girls and shit. And like, it's like, oh yeah. And then they do whatever to them. And it's like, they say it like so laissez-faire. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, and then like you see the comments.
If you're raised in a world where that's never been checked and it's never, I mean, yeah, of course you're gonna feel that way.
And then you see the comments of like the wrestling fans. They're like, "Oh, everybody's such a pussy now. Is this how things went in the '80s?" Like, bro, like rape was never like a thing. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's the '80s. People use jokes with the word retard in it. Like, okay. But it was like rape. I think was still like pretty not cool. Like overall,
yeah, it hasn't been cool for a
Yeah.
long time. Like,
Yeah.
since the Bible.
I didn't think it was cool in the Bible.
No, it was okay because remember, Lot was like, "Hey, don't fuck these angels. Come rape my daughters." So like they got a pass.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Jesus was. He was conceived.
But didn't Lot get turned? Wait, no, I'm thinking of Sodom and Gomorrah.
No,
Lot
you're right.
got
That's the
turned
same
into
story.
salt.
Lot's
Salt,
wife got turned into salt because she looked back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever
it's
look
like-
back.
That's what
Yeah.
the Oasis song is
Don't look
about.
back in anger.
Yeah.
What,
Or turn to salt.
I wonder how Lot's wife salt compares with like Himalayan salt.
I was thinking
And
about
then
that.
Lot's Himalayan
It's
salt.
all the same chemical composition. They're just bigger chunks. That's all.
I wonder if it's pinker
Yeah.
than Himalayan salt.
A Lot salt wife lamp for your to benefit your skin.
Dude, lots of salt. Just see people get the joke.
I like it.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of salt.
I gotta watch that.
Oh,
I wanted to. I didn't have a chance.
Yeah, those Vice documentaries are usually pretty good. Like the Dark
Isn't
Side of
it-
the Ring. Go ahead.
Is it like a season? Like they do seasons
Yeah.
of them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first 2 seasons are on Hulu. I think they're on season 3 or 4 right now.
Wasn't Jericho? The one I wanted to see. I
Jericho
saw clips of
is
him.
the host.
Was Benoit?
Yeah,
In the last episode
uh,
because a bunch of those like clips showed up on TikTok of them.
The only issue is like if you're like even like a semi more than casual wrestling fan, you're gonna know a lot of these stories already.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean,
yeah.
I knew about the plane ride from hell, but I didn't know like all the shit they go into in this.
Well, the
one.
fact that they had the flight attendant interviewed in there was what made it like compelling. You know what I mean? Because you've heard that story a million times.
It was awful. Like,
Yeah.
like, ugh, it's so. And then Tommy Dreamer is like, "Well, if she felt like if she felt like she was wrong, then why'd she take a payout?" It's like, bro.
Yeah, and it's like things offend everybody now. I mean, look at me. I got 2 ponytails. That's got to offend somebody. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's called pigtails.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I always think about like,
No, he has an inline double ponytail. It's not a pigtail.
Oh,
yeah,
It's weird.
It's awful. But like, it's like
He's like a dressage horse.
well, it's like this. I mean, like this lady just went to work. She shouldn't be harassed in any way whatsoever. Like you know what I mean?
And if anything, she was like overly accommodating. But like even still, she was like, it's just it's tough when things happen.
And we're 30,000 feet in the air.
But then they had like Goldust's wife on there. It's like, oh, you just got to no sell it. It's like not everybody's a fucking carny. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
the other part. I forgot about that. So yeah, they had Terry Reynolds on, who used to be Terry in the WWE.
Yeah.
And she real life former wife of Goldust.
Okay.
But she talks about a encounter with Brock Lesnar where Brock Lesnar, I guess, like showed her his dick or something, and like I guess that everybody told her because
her husband was like, just don't sell it.
Yeah, don't sell it. That's how she described it. Don't sell it.
Yeah.
And like she's like, that's what you have to do, and it's like that is so fucked up.
That's
like
weird.
That is so prevalent in the industry. I mean, I assume it still is, but definitely back then, that like the best thing to do is just to keep your mouth shut. Like, God, yeah, it's really gross. It really puts a lot of wrestling in like a harsh relief. Like it's tough to like overlook that shit.
Well, it makes you really wonder about how dark some of this shit is because it's like those were stories like we've heard people have told that story like joking around. So like, what is the shit they're like too horrified to talk about? Like that's gotta be
what are they keeping? Yeah, what are they keeping under their mattress?
Well, I sent a video. I don't want to make this all about this, but that episode really did fuck me up, and it fucked a lot of people up, and a lot of people are talking about it for wrestling fan wise. But somebody shared a I don't know, one of these like old shoot interviews that they did with Brutus Beefcake, who's a guy that is in the business forever, and he literally is talking about H-bomb. He's like, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels used to H-bomb girls all the time, and he's like, they'd H-bomb them, and he's like, then he said some bullshit about they take the laundry.
Yeah, they get rid of the laundry and then have their fun.
Yeah, that's what he says. And he's laughing about it the whole time. And he's like, and then he used to just toss them out naked in the hallways, like laughing his ass off. Like this is like a fucking funny thing. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels just rape chicks and just like whatever.
I expect that from Shawn Michaels. I expect better from Marty Jannetty.
Oh,
you don't know much about Marty Jannetty.
You don't follow him on Twitter at all.
Oh, is he bad?
Oh, he's
he swims in deep water.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's real bad.
Yeah.
Like he's still bad. Like he'll say he is like the perfect like boomer psychopath because he doesn't like understand. Like he says all kinds of shit on Twitter that he shouldn't say, and he's like Sean. He posted some pictures like, this is my daughter's best friend, but like she asked if we needed to go, if I wanted to go out with her, and I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's bad.
Hot?
It doesn't matter. No, but anyway, all right. So that's it. Anything else, Sean?
No, that's it. Let's get to our feature presentation.
I'm disgusted by wrestling, something I love a whole lot, but now I'm like,
not be disgusted by sharks, something else you enjoy.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is tough, though. Like honestly, like it's you hear. It's like Sean said though. Like these stories have been passed around as like kind of gags, and now it's like, well, if this is that serious, then what the hell else is out there? Like, ugh. Anyway, so Land Shark, as I referred to it several times, Shark.
This is on you guys.
Yeah, I'll do it. It's fine. Yeah. The movie opens into what I thought was an ad for something else because the quality is so bad. It like opens mise-en-scene with every woman I ever dated walking down a beach by herself with a fifth of Jack Daniels that disappears.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is my favorite part of the movie because I was like, I would date that girl.
Okay. You know what I appreciate about this movie? Nobody's hot. You know what I mean? So I like that.
She's like a Baltimore 7. Like she's like,
yeah.
Also, I'm sure you're going to get into it, but like her reaction to being scared is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like she thinks she's getting stalked, so she just decides to take a nap on the beach.
I texted you boys that it was like an experiment in anti-acting. I've never seen acting this amateur in my entire life. Like, I mean, this is like,
every actor in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like it makes The Room look like fucking L'Age d'Or or whatever. It's like, it's incredible. It's like, it's like there wasn't a script. Like there's somebody off screen like yelling the lines at them. Like
I don't know how you can like. It seems to be challenging to act this bad.
The woman's.
You know what it reminds me of?
Showed up on the computer screen. Her eyebrows did the most acting of anyone in the entire film.
The movie reminds me of what's her name? Amber Waves. What the hell is her real name?
Julianne Moore in Boogie Nights.
Yeah, she was talking about like they're like, well, how do you do the bad porno acting? She's like, I think about what I'm doing with my hands a lot, and like that's all I could think of with this movie because they're just like. The cadence is so bizarre. Anyway, so the woman like rolls around in this like shitty looking beach that for a minute I was excited because I thought they were in Maryland because I saw a Boardwalk Fries thing. And that's like an instant pop for me, but apparently it's shot in California, which is insane because it looks very Canadian.
Is that right? Wow, I didn't know.
And she rolls around the beach, she gets a bunch of sand stuck to her in a very like distracting way.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it cuts to like shark vision, which is like this weird fish eye. Like
it's a fish.
Yeah, fair. Well, okay, you got me. And then there's like the food dye thrown around everywhere, and then it cuts to Malco, which is the company like the most like they should have been called Evil Core, but they are experimenting on sharks to go onto land to sell to the Pentagon.
The sharks. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I can't believe you missed a plot point in this masterpiece. The ship's captain, who is
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
From Stephen King's Maine. Here, biting the nuts in the water.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the lighthouse keeper from Rick and Morty.
And the sharks in the research lab are kept in like a literal fish tank that's like it's like a great white shark.
It's like a 30-gallon.
But it's like the size of like a peanut butter pretzel jar.
Yeah.
Like round, yeah. Yeah. So I had no idea that like genetically altering animals to sell to the Pentagon would be such a trope in movies we watch.
Yeah,
but,
it's a bunch. Yeah.
But like it's the same thing, we brought up with whatever the most recent Jurassic Park movie is. It's like every version of these weapons they're trying to make are already less effective than the soldiers and shit that they already have.
Well, they had legitimate laser blasters that they later hunt the shark with. I'm like, why are we even
They have laser guns and phones from the 80s, like
but a very nice BMW.
Yeah, and also a shark
Quick 5 series.
A shark that can only be on land for 20 minutes. Like, are these wars they're planning on fighting like specifically only on a beach? Like, how would that even work anyway?
It's just grenades. Like that's all it is.
So the guy scientist is getting berated by a woman who he used to fuck, who may be old enough to be his mother, possibly. Yeah. I couldn't like quite place an age on this woman, but she is hideous.
Yeah,
and
it's a nightmare.
I also thought she was like a computer program.
Because she looks like fucking Max Headroom on that computer monitor.
Get the shark.
The technology is all over the place in this movie, but yeah, he's like secretly letting he's like there's 3 missing. That's a high number. Usually it's only 2. Like, what the fuck are we even battling about?
The graph she was looking at, like, here's the sharks we have versus the sharks
they put I saw the graph because they put it on screen for 4 minutes, like it was a fucking PowerPoint presentation.
Why everything was so sharp and just
like I can't even like recount how bad the dialogue. The line readings are in this movie. Like I couldn't even do it. You know what I mean?
Well, you belong to us now because you know the truth.
Well, it's impossible too because not only are the line readings bad and the acting's bad, but it's not framed at all. No. Like it's literally just like they just like pointed a camera. There's no blocking or like
the lighting is piss poor.
What is it with these movies that are like awful with awful actors, but they're the most verbose fucking like? Why do they have so many fucking lines?
Yeah, that's a great point. Like,
because those shark effects are expensive.
Yeah, no bullshit. They had
this shark was made of duct tape.
When the shark was crawling on land, like I almost just stopped.
It was like
a claymation shark that they didn't finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like a plushie. Like they it looked like one of those
Sculpey.
or one of those hand puppets you would get from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's fucking brutal. So like the land shark is just going around menacing this beach, sort of, and they have their weird royalty-free Jaws interpretation. Like the sound is all over the place. Like, because I guess they don't have directional mics or anything. It's just recording.
This movie is mixed like nothing I've ever heard before.
I don't think it's mixed.
In the movie,
well, they can't. I was gonna say they can't mix the sound because they're using the mixer as some kind of like electrical panel that's taped to a wall later in the movie.
Oh yeah, because the cable guy gets killed by it.
Yeah, that's a fucking 4-channel mixer.
But later on, they have like a la Aliens like directional microphone that's like beep beep beep.
Yeah.
Like, and they do the it's right on top of us thing because you knew that was gonna happen. But that beep is so loud. It's louder than anything in the movie. It's so fucking annoying. Like I muted the movie.
Also, what time of year does this movie take place? Because like the beach hobo, who apparently is a giant 4-year-old because he writes something with an S backwards, like a la Toys R Us or whatever. Like he's some lovable scamp from the Depression. Like how would that happen?
He's like the beach hobo in the middle of a desert, isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
but he's wearing
Arizona.
But he's dressed like the fucking lead singer from Biohazard. He's wearing a full-on leather jacket.
The best line in the entire movie. Because he's like, was interviewed by the news. He's like, listen, I've seen some things. I was in Nam, not the war, but I was on vacation there. I was like, maybe smile.
Well, what about the weird, like, now I've already lost the plot of this movie because it just goes on forever. It took me
until it doesn't.
It took me 3 sittings to watch this 70-minute movie, by the way.
This was the longest 70 minutes.
Yeah, it took me 3 tries too.
What about the scene where they're in the pool? Like, it's another one of these movies where everybody's facing the camera, no matter whether it makes sense or not in the movie. So, like, they're next to each other, like skinny dipping or whatever. Like, I saw your tits, but they're both facing.
Pause.
Go ahead.
This line was written for an actress with big tits, presumably, and this actress had no tits.
Yeah, that is correct.
They're in their YOLO raft. They're trying to get a selfie.
The tit continuity is a real problem in this movie.
Yeah.
We just met on Tinder.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm glad you swiped right on me.
If the shark touches chlorinated water, does that reset the 20-minute timer?
I mean, it might have been a saltwater pool.
That'd be fair.
I do know that the vials of super soldier serum, for some reason they did a hard like push in on those, and those syringes just had actual like these kind of nails like at the end of them that they just jammed, and I guess, I don't know, a horse syringe.
Well, I guess my question.
And the guy's like taking the super soldier serum to turn into a shark.
I thought
some lady killed.
Okay. I thought he was a were shark because there's a point in the movie where they're like, "Oh, did you cut your hand shaving?" And
no, he's a were shark on purpose.
Oh, I thought he was an accidental were shark.
He did it to himself. He was like injecting himself, or at the beginning, or that's why he was taking the sharks out of the lab when he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, he's like,
God, I can't believe I paid this much attention.
Yeah, I mean, you're killing it, buddy.
My plan was to add human DNA to sharks, but my plan was to add shark DNA to humans, and I'm a human, and that's the DNA. And then he turns and
all things considered for this whole movie, the makeup when he turns into the Shark Man is not terrible. It's considered the production value of
literally everything else
in this film.
But then, like, if that's supposed to be a super soldier, this chunky office lady murders him with her bare hands just by squeezing his face.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to.
And he reverts. He shoots black blood all over the place and then reverts.
I don't want to question the wisdom of the Pentagon, right? But, like, you'd think if they were that hard up for military-grade mutant shark men, they would do it in-house and not subcontract it to some place in fucking Olney that has one room.
Like, the guy who makes himself a super soldier shark man, he's built like me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're not getting yourself like a Captain America or a Thor. Like, it's
no, you're just getting a regular dude who can turn into a shark, but only be on land for 20 minutes.
I need toothy podcast.
Can I bring this up because I'm going to forget about it later, but because it just popped into my head. there's a scene. So there's like a long chunk of this movie where the two of them, the normal guy and the office lady, are like together tracking down the shark. And there's one point where they stay at a hotel and then they show an exterior shot of a restaurant, but then they're just sitting in wicker chairs.
Yeah, they're clearly sitting in somebody's backyard.
But then that scene ends with the dude eating like a sandwich for some reason. Like,
there's also like the tease of tit when this like, I don't know, hard six of a woman is in the shower, but it's like, is this supposed to be sexy or are we just killing time? Yeah. Because they have and I forget, somebody on Facebook posted it, so thank you, whoever that was. The shoot the rodeo scene where like, a la, The Room or Birdemic or any of these movies, they just shoot beach amusements for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. I saw whoever responded to you on Facebook, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen it a million times, but it's like, it doesn't make any sense in the narrative of the movie because they don't use any of these beach amusements. They are just there. Like I already know they're at the beach. The whole movie takes place at the beach besides the 3 hours in the middle where they're wandering about this restaurant house hotel. But yeah, they have to go track this thing down. Like, it's going to be hard to find on like, this thing is why do you even need the tracker?
Well, it's humongous until it's not, and then it's stealthy until it isn't.
Yeah, it's like a Cloverfield thing.
20 feet long until it needs to fit in a 30-gallon fish tank, and then it fits in a fish tank.
At least Shark Exorcist had that weird dream sequence where that like girl might have committed statutory rape.
Oh yeah,
and like had other stuff go and news reports. This is like a two-hander almost, and it is fucking unwatchable. Like this is one of those like questioning what I'm doing with my remaining time on Earth type movies. Like
it didn't help that Tubi has ads and it made like this movie.
I was actually praying for the ads so I could get up and not feel bad about it.
On Amazon Prime because once again, this also was on Prime.
Oh, it was on Prime.
Oh, fuck!
You tell us that stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
Bro.
Yeah, why would you hold that to yourself? Could have saved me 20 minutes.
Oh,
yeah, but then it just kind of ends. The lasers are fun because there's no they don't even do the cheap laser beam after effect. It's just like a flash in front of it,
and they look like your dad forgot to buy you Christmas presents when you're 8 and went to Rite Aid and went to the toy section. Like
that's a CVS Captain Commander America.
It was
Commander USA special.
It's like,
and it also like begs the question of like how high tech it is because they have 2 different laser guns. I guess like they bought the pack of space guns because those 2 guns that they have are not similar.
Yeah. Also, that shark took like 7 laser blasts.
Yeah, but to your point, you can just squeeze it. So like it's a laser type shark man. I don't know, man. Like
the shark man, like Doc said, the shark man reverts, and then he tells the lady that there's other experiments, and that cuts to a 75-foot shark fin that I guess eats a pier. Like
Shark Boy. Yeah.
Oh my god, this fucking again, it's not a movie. This thing.
Yeah, I'm abstaining from rating this.
Are you familiar with the old Metallica song, "The Thing That Should Not Be"? That's this. Yeah, it's a great song.
Enter Sandman's not bad.
Come on. Thing That Should Not Be is great. It's a Lovecraft reference.
Like this is fucking brutal. Like again, like I don't know how these movies happen. Like I feel like I should just start cranking shit out, throwing it on Amazon, like just shooting shit on my phone at the house, and like this is the dog movie.
Well, whoever directed this just got money from 4 people.
Do you think this guy makes money? Do you
think has to?
No, but I mean, like, do you think he makes like a good living?
This almost seems like a Neil, and I don't want to besmirch the good name of Sir Neil Breen. But this almost seems like a Neil Breen thing where he's got money from something else and he's using it for this.
Well, I said it analog.
Like nobody commissioned this, right? This wasn't like a Blacklist script that got kicked around.
No. If this movie costs more than $50, they all should be ashamed of themselves. Like I just can't imagine.
There is one part where I pop legitimately where the fucking hobo gets eviscerated.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to do like a jump cut to his legs not being there because at first you just see him like playing with Hormel canned chili all over his stomach that's supposed to be his guts,
Yeah.
but he doesn't know how to emote properly, so it looks like a little kid like really excited about finger painting with food. And then there's a legit like frame missing jump cut to his legs just being over somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I know Gog said he's gonna abstain. Like I don't even know because like you can't legitimately rate this movie, right? Like there's
Right.
we don't have a scale appropriate for it.
Well,
here I'll go for. I give it an incomplete.
yeah, 5
Okay.
numbers.
Yeah, it's an incomplete. There's no like you can't. Like, hold on. What do we got up here? Shark Exorcist, Solar Babies, The Blood of Heroes, The Happening.
Are those
Like those are real movies.
Yeah.
Hot Bot.
That's not
Hotbot.
real.
Hotbot
It
was
has
a
real actors. In it,
Hotbot
though.
was more of a real movie than this.
Had Anthony Anderson in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't like if you put a gun in it, it's a 0. Like there's
But I feel like a 0 gives it too much
It
credit.
almost gives it too much power.
Like it needs a new like a negative.
Yeah. I mean, giving it an I makes sense.
This
It's
is
like
the-
when it's like I was telling you before you showed up. It's like if you turn in a paper and your professor or whoever gave it back,
Oh,
you
here.
go try again.
instead of
Well, this
numbers,
isn't-
we'll give it a pass fail. It's a fail.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
fail. It's a
yeah,
fail.
it's almost like it's almost like an NA because like I don't know what to put here. Like I don't have the resource
Right.
to put anything here that would make any
Like
sense.
the game got rained out and they didn't. Which still,
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Like you're not making the playoffs anyway. We're not making up the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all can agree on that.
Like yeah, there's no way there's takes in this movie, right? Like
It's the least right.
No.
Yeah. This
or
is the
maybe
least movie we've watched.
yeah. There are cuts, but there are not takes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the acting, like even the like writing and like the scene composition. Like, there's a scene where it cracked me up. Like this guy and this girl again, who is like Sean said earlier. This movie has no hot people in it, but this woman,
Everyone's ugly.
this woman that's supposed to be a model, they go out to the desert.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Photo shoot.
Yeah.
He has a photo shoot, but like they couldn't even spring to get like I don't even know an old SLR camera, so like what a photographer would have.
Yeah.
Literally got like an old like point and shoot like
Sony
Sony.
Canon like Elf or something.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
it's
like something shittier than your phone, like by
Right,
a
like-
lot.
a 2 megapixel.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, why didn't they just go to Goodwill and get some old 35 millimeter camera that looks like a camera?
That looks like a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna have a photo shoot with this fucking shitty like Canon. Like, what are you doing? But like that scene doesn't make any sense. And both actors are like again beyond terrible. Like terrible
Yeah.
doesn't even cover it. Like they're not even like I don't even know what they're doing. Like it's like like Sean said, it's anti-acting.
Actually, what I want the making. I want to. Maybe this guy's just gearing up for a documentary to be made about himself.
It's like a
he makes
movie.
about movies.
It's like a movie that would be in Idiocracy.
But
You
the
know what I
thing is,
mean?
though, like,
Yeah.
hold on,
Like-
just real quick, because again,
Yeah.
I swim in bad movie, very deep waters when it comes to bad movies. Sean mentioned Neil Breen, right?
Mhm.
Neil Breen has made some like unbelievably bad movies.
Yeah.
But like when you when you see interviews with Neil Breen, he's a crazy person, and there's like passion behind what he does.
Yeah.
And it's bad. It's like a Tommy Wiseau, same idea. Like you can tell Neil Breen really thinks these movies are something.
And there's a lot of tit in Neil Breen movies. I'm just gonna
It's
put
like
that
I
out
love
there.
that documentary about Jim Wynorski. Same idea. Like his movies are like. I mean, he made Chopping Mall.
But Chopping
Yeah.
Mall is
Chopping Mall was
shit.
legitimate.
Yeah, that guy made legitimate B movies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, but this isn't that. This I don't know what this is.
dog shit.
it just feels like a quick way to cash in on all those like asylum cash-ins of other movies. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, you want Mega Shark versus Megalodon? Well, here's Land Shark. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a movie you would watch on accident.
This is the GoBots to the Asylum's Transformers.
Yeah, that's something, huh?
Yeah.
So this guy made a bunch of nothing movies. I mean, he still does, clearly.
Yeah.
In 1996,
He's been
him and his brother made a movie called Feeders, which was picked up by Blockbuster in the aftermath of the commercial success of Independence Day. and became their #1 independent film rental for the year.
What?
And I guess that's how they made some money to keep making.
Oh my god!
that's-
In your face, Clerks.
No shit.
Wow.
All right. Well, anything else before we leave this movie to be forgotten about forever?
No, somebody needs to pick for next week.
I would. Well, I have
Who's
a pick.
left?
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Picked.
no. I texted about it. Yeah.
I don't
I got the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. I thought we could
Oh.
break.
Oh, hooray.
Well, it's up to Sean.
We don't have to.
Yeah, that's
we don't have
fine.
to.
Yeah, I don't have a pick, so go ahead.
Okay, so next week we're gonna watch M. Night Shyamalan's Old, which I've heard is horrendous, but by comparison to this, it's got to be better.
Well, no,
Yeah.
will it be more disappointing because they spent money on it?
It would be an actual movie, I guess. Maybe.
I mean, as much as we haven't ever favorably watched any M. Night Shyamalan movie, right? Like everyone we've watched, we didn't like.
Yeah,
Unbreakable. Did we watch Unbreakable?
We didn't watch it.
not for the show. We watched
Time?
Unbreakable too.
Yeah, we watched Glass.
Oh, Glass.
Yeah, we watched Signs. Gogs, I don't think you were there.
Signs
No,
was
you weren't
bad.
there.
We
Yeah,
didn't
like go
watch
back and
it.
watch that movie if you think you like it, because it is shitty.
No, it was bad.
We watched for his month. We watched Signs, The Happening, Devil, and Glass.
Oh, Devil.
Devil. That's the worst.
Devil's pretty bad.
Devil was
I don't know. Glass might be worse than.
Glass was really bad too.
Happening.
Yeah.
Glass was
George,
At least Glass had Samuel L. Jackson.
but it
And
was
he's
so
fun.
boring.
watch the pitch meeting for Happening. It's
I
hilarious.
watched all of those. They're great.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
that's the show, everybody. Eat your own ass, and we'll be back with M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
Hell yeah. All right. I love you, boys. I'll talk about it.
Love you.
Love
All
you,
right.
brother.
Take care, buddy.
See you,
Bye.
buddy.